Good morning and welcome to another episode of Eat, Smoke, Drink. My first coffee of the day. I just need to get well. So today I am going to take you through an estate called the Leonid Ramirez. Leonid Ramirez. Is that how you say it? Leonid? No, there's no E. And it's Spanish, so there won't be a nide. Leonid Ramirez, okay? It's a Colombian bean. And the process is an anaerobic washed. Okay, anaerobic washed. I told you I'm getting obsessed with anaerobic, EF2, and all sorts of screwed up stuff. I will, of course, buy more beans that are not those, but I just kind of, after I tasted the one, I was like, holy shit, I gotta get some more. So I just got all sorts of random stuff. I'm gravitating towards that. It's complex, it's funky, it's weird, it's maybe sometimes challenging, and I love it. I absolutely love it. So the varietal is called Castillo. The region is Genova, Quindio. Okay. Tastes like stone fruit, lime, sugar cane. But let's be the judge of that. First, I am going to nose the bean. Observation of the bean. Once again, some small beans, some big beans, some warped, screwed up shaped beans, some perfectly looking quintessential bean. So I love that. I love the look of that. Obviously it's not like machine massive harvested out there. Anyway, let's get sniffing. I do get the lime. I don't get the stone fruit, but I get the lime. I get earthiness. A slight funkiness, not a huge amount of funkiness. I believe this was 20 hours anaerobic and then washed. So I'm guessing, is it 20 hours where they just put it in a container on purpose or accident? I don't know. But it's only a day. So is there a point to a day worth of anaerobic fermentation? I don't know. Maybe someone forgot the tub and went, oh, whoops. Let's make it anaerobic. Nah, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I actually don't know. Burnt sugar. The nose is very light. If I don't look at the color, the nose is very light. I would hazard a guess that it is a light roast, a light to medium roast, shall I say? Or even light roast, but light to medium. But let's see how it tastes. The description is medium roast, but who knows? Let's see how we go. I get the lime. Definitely get the lime, but more like a dry lime. Like imagine if lime was turned into a powder, like a lime cordial with very little sugar in it. That's really what it smells like. The sugar cane, I kind of get it. Burnt sugar, brown sugar, demerara sugar, damp wood, cream. There's a creaminess to it. Like an actual double cream, when you're whipping double cream. I'm getting some strawberry jam. There's a sweetness to it. A sweet fruitiness to it, a condensed strawberry jam. And like I say, look guys, I am nosing the shit out of this like I am whiskey, because that's what I know. So I'm gonna take you through that, and feedback is great. Give us some feedback. There's a waxiness to it. There's an oiliness to it that I can smell. There's definitely a funk. Definitely a strange funkiness to it. Like I can't describe it. A vegetal nose. There's a hint of licorice in there. But there's a vegetal nose I can't put my finger on. Let me just... I know this sounds strange, but it's almost gassy, like when I smell Brussels sprouts that's been in a container for maybe a few days, and you open the container and you've got that smell. That could be the CO2 escaping from the bean, but who knows? Not entirely sure. Woody, creamy, burnt butter. There's a faint hint of vegetation to it, but also a herb. I'm not sure what herb. I'm going to tell you it's tarragon. Tarragon and tiny flakes, just tiny flakes of sage in the distance. There's a slight smokiness to it. There's a bit of a tea-like smell, like a oolong, quite a green oolong. But oolong on a second steep. Oolong on a second steep, you know, when you've steeped oolong twice. Let's get nosing on the actual brew. Ooh, there's a very strong roast smell. From on the brew smell, I would even say it could be a medium. A slight fruitiness, but there's a weirdness to it. I can smell some meat, a meatiness to this. That's the thing I've noticed with some of these anaerobic fermented. I can smell some meat. And I know this sounds weird, but you know when you buy a clearance steak in the grocery store and the steak blood is just on the cusp of being acceptable. Do you know what I mean? I can't describe it enough except for that. Like, it's kind of like starting to turn a little bit, but not, you know, but in the best way possible. I know that sounds fucked up, but in the best way possible. There is that, a funk. A damp, wet cloth that's been sitting around for a couple of days. South Africans call it vrotlappies. Any South Africans there? Yeah? Vrotlappies. But there is an umami, meaty smell to that. Burnt leather, burnt butter, burnt sugar. The roast is a very strong nose on the roast. Dislocation from the nose of the bean and nose of the brew. I'm not getting so much of the lime, but that says taste like, so but taste and smell can be very close. But there is a distinct meatiness to that, a distinct vegetal note to that. That cabbage Brussels sprout is in that smell. It's weird. And that's a very familiar smell to me because only a couple of days ago I had to clear some Brussels sprouts in the fridge. And yeah, I had to let some of these Brussels sprouts go. And I was like, ooh, there you go. And it's just so familiar to me. Oh, smells glorious though. But then again, all the descriptions I've given you, it turns out maybe I'm just a freaking addict. And to me, it just smells good because I know the caffeine's going to hit me soon. All right, let's sip. Wow. Man, talk about a disconnect from the nose to brew to taste. There is a huge spectrum. There is a little bit of crossover, but there are 3 bubbles that are just completely outlandish. There's a distinct bitterness on the back palate, and I will tell you now, their description of lime is 100% accurate. Holy crap, that's hard to encounter. Stone fruit, I'm not getting it at all, but the lime, I am tasting lime peel, lime rind, pith, and lime juice smell. Not the lime acidity of the taste, but the lime oils, the lime essence. You know, when you squeeze a lime and you smell your hand and then you taste the lime, but it's the oil, the concentrate. The sweetness from the nose that I was experiencing is not there. It is quite bitter. It is quite earthy, wet soil, wet bark, wet mulch, very earthy. Wow. It tastes like I'm actually even thinking it's a heavier than a medium roast. But that's fine. I mean, The smell is definitely light. The brew smell is medium, and the taste is definitely on the robust side of the roast. Fantastic. That is great. That is more quintessential coffee with a lime twist than some of the other ones I've had. It is more familiar to most people. The smell can be a little funky, but the taste is definitely coffee's taste. This is not challenging at all. It's actually absolutely delicious, Moorish. I'm getting the aftertaste. It's strange. I am now getting the aftertaste of a mocha chocolate cake, a mocha mud cake. Chocolate, not cacao, not cocoa, but chocolate is starting to come through. I'd say I associate that chocolate taste to a 50 to 60% chocolate content as opposed to a high cocoa content. Wow, that sweetness is starting to develop on the palate. Oh, I'm looking forward to another cup later. Oh man, I'm already jonesing. Look, that's fantastic. Leonid Ramirez, my first Leonid Ramirez. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope to get some new beans this week. Until next time, make sure you eat, smoke, drink. Cheers.